If you're over 60 and you've been hearing that Medicare is finally covering a vaccine that didn't exist 5 years ago, you're about to discover why most of the people watching this right now won't actually be approved to get it, and the catch has nothing to do with cost. It's something almost nobody in the doctor's office is talking about, and it could quietly change how you plan for the rest of your year. Stay with me, because by the end of this conversation, you'll know exactly who qualifies, who doesn't, and what you can do tonight to make sure you don't get turned away at the pharmacy counter. My name is Dr. Thomas Reynolds. I've spent more than 2 decades working with older adults in primary care and geriatrics, and I can tell you there has never been a vaccine gap like this one. A shot that can prevent a hospitalization. A shot that was once $300 out of pocket. Now Medicare pays for it in full, and yet walk into any clinic and roughly half of the seniors I see don't qualify for it under the current federal rules. Not because the vaccine isn't safe, not because it isn't effective, but because the CDC quietly narrowed the eligibility window and most patients never heard the update. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 things every senior should know before they ask for this shot. I'll explain which vaccine I'm talking about, why most seniors won't qualify, the exact medical conditions that do open the door, the billing trap between Medicare Part B and Part D that catches even, doctors off guard, and what to actually say when you call your doctor's office tomorrow morning. Some of this will surprise you, the last one especially. Let's start with the vaccine itself. 1. The vaccine that's covered and what it actually does. The shot is called OSV-RV respiratory syncytial virus, and if that name sounds familiar but small, almost like a childhood thing, I want you to reframe what you think this virus is. OSV-RV behaves like a respiratory hurricane. It invades the lining of the airways. In children, it causes croup and bronchiolitis. But in adults over 60, especially over 75, it behaves like a sibling of severe influenza, sometimes worse. It inflames the lungs, it floods the bronchial tubes with mucus, it drops your oxygen saturation overnight, and it sends roughly 150,000 older adults to the emergency room in the United States every single year. The vaccine, known by the brand names Arexvy and Abrysvo, teaches your immune system to recognize that hurricane before it lands. When OSV-RV enters your airway, your immune system now has a defense plan waiting. It can neutralize the virus at the door before it multiplies into the deep lung. And here is the part hospitals love. Studies over the last several years have shown that a single dose of this vaccine reduces the risk of OSV-RV-related lower respiratory tract disease substantially in older adults across clinical trials including thousands of participants aged 60 and up. Efficacy in preventing severe infection was reported in ranges of the high 60th to mid 80th% against symptomatic illness during the first OSV-RV season after vaccination. That doesn't cure everything. It doesn't eliminate your risk, but it meaningfully lowers the chance that an ordinary cold season turns into a hospitalization, oxygen, maybe weeks of recovery. That's the shot. Now let's talk about why most of you watching won't qualify for it too. Why most seniors don't qualify, the age line that changed. This is the heart of the whole conversation, and I want to slow down here. In 2023, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices ASAP recommended the OSV-RV vaccine broadly for every adult aged 60 and older. That was the early guidance. Many people still believe that's the rule today. It is not. In June 2024, ASAP revised the recommendation. The current federal guidance is this. Every adult aged 75 and older should receive a single dose of the OSV-RV vaccine. This is a universal recommendation. Adults aged 62-74 should receive the vaccine only if they are at increased risk for severe OSV-RV disease. That word increased risk is doing an enormous amount of heavy lifting. Most older adults in their 60s and early 70s, even if they have a few aches and pains, won't technically meet it. I'll get to the specific conditions in a minute, but I want you to feel that distinction. If you're 76, you walk in and you get a green light. If you're 67, you need paperwork to prove you qualify. And here's why this matters. The upper age band 75 and older is where OSVRV hospitalization rates climb steeply. That's the group most at risk, so the science makes sense. But the practical effect is that millions of healthy-feeling seniors between 60 and 74 are now excluded by default. Their immune system might benefit. Their lungs might benefit, but by the formal rule, they don't qualify unless one of a defined set of conditions is on their chart. So the very first thing I want you to do, if you're between 60 and 74, is to ask yourself whether your medical record carries any of these named high-risk conditions. 3. The 9 conditions that open the door for 60-74-year-olds. If you're in that window 60-74, these are the conditions. The CDC has identified that put you at increased risk of severe OSVRV. I want you to listen carefully. I'm going to say each one slowly. Chronic heart disease, including coronary artery disease and heart failure. Chronic lung disease, especially COPD, emphysema, asthma that's not well controlled, or pulmonary fibrosis, diabetes, particularly type 1 or type 2 requiring medication. Chronic kidney disease, even moderate stages. Liver disease, including cirrhosis or chronic hepatitis. Obesity, generally defined as a BMI at or above 40, immunocompromised state. This includes being on chemotherapy, taking high-dose steroids, having an organ transplant, HIV, or certain autoimmune conditions. Neurologic or neuromuscular conditions that affect breathing or swallowing, including stroke history, ALS, Parkinson's, or muscular dystrophy. Residence in a long-term care facility, such as a nursing home or assisted living. Now, and this is where I want to slow down even more. Having one of these conditions on your chart doesn't automatically mean your physician will offer it. Many doctors, myself included, walk through a visit focused on 3 urgent things. The vaccine question sometimes never comes up, so I want to teach you how to bring it up. But before I get there, we need to make sure that even if your doctor agrees and you qualify, the pharmacy actually bills it correctly, because that's where another wave of confusion is happening right now. 4. The Medicare Part B versus Part D billing trap. This is where most seniors get stuck. Let me explain this in everyday terms. Think of your Medicare coverage as 2 fuel tanks in a car. Part B is your main tank. Part D is your reserve tank for prescription-related medications. Most of the vaccines seniors grew up with: flu, pneumonia, hepatitis B, 4 at-risk groups, COVID, those all flow through the Part B tank. You walk in, you get the shot, you pay nothing. That part is simple. The OSVRV vaccine flows through the Part D tank. That means a few things have to be true for it to be free. You must have a Part D prescription drug plan, either a standalone Part D plan or a Medicare Advantage plan that includes drug coverage. Your specific Part D plan must list the OSVRV vaccine on its formulary. The pharmacist or provider must bill the plan correctly, not cash, not out of network, through your actual plan. Now here's the critical update I want you to take to heart. As of 2025, thanks to provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act, recommended adult vaccines covered under Part D are available at zero cost sharing for most Medicare beneficiaries. That's a huge change. 2 years ago, you might have walked up to a pharmacy, asked for the OSVRV shot, and been handed a bill for several $100s. Today, for many seniors with Part D, that bill should be $0 at the point of sale, should be. But only if the pharmacy is set up to bill your Part D plan for a Part D covered vaccine, and only if your documentation matches the eligibility criteria we just talked about. This is where seniors get caught. They walk into a chain pharmacy. The pharmacist says, "We don't bill Part D vaccines here." Or the pharmacist says, "Your doctor said you qualify based on age, but your plan is saying you don't have a qualifying condition on file." Or they ask for an out-of-pocket price of around $300 and walk away thinking Medicare never covered it. None of those are correct statements. They are billing failures, not coverage failures, and I'm going to give you the exact way to handle that next. 5. What to actually do, the 5-step plan before your next appointment. This is the part I want every person watching to write down or to save on a phone note. 5 concrete steps. Step 1. Check your age and your Medicare card. If you're 75 or older, you don't need a qualifying condition. Just request the shot. Make sure you have a Part D plan in place, either Original Medicare with a standalone Part D or Medicare Advantage with drug coverage. If you only have Part A and Part B, the OSV-ARV vaccine is not covered. That's why so many older adults hear Medicare doesn't pay for it. It's a coverage gap, not a denial. Step 2. If you're 60 through 74, look across your own medical history. Do you have any of the 9 conditions I just listed? Many of you, more than you might think, will find 1. Diabetes, COPD, a history of heart disease, even a documented BMI at or above 40. If you can point to it, you qualify. Step 3. Call your doctor's office before the visit. Don't wait until you're sitting in the exam room. Call and say, I want the OSV-ARV vaccine. I believe I qualify because I have the specific condition. Please place the order so I can get it at my preferred pharmacy. Brief, clear, action-oriented. This makes it part of the plan, not an afterthought. Step 4. Choose a pharmacy that bills Part D vaccines through Medicare. Major chains often can, but call ahead and ask, do you currently bill OSV-ARV vaccines to Medicare Part D plans? If the answer is we don't bill Part D, ask, is there a nearby location that does? Or ask if your doctor's office can administer it in clinic and bill that way. Sometimes that's smoother. Step 5. After your shot, check your explanation of benefits. Make sure the claim is going through Part D and that your cost share is listed as 0. If you see a charge, contact your Part D plan directly and ask them to reprocess it. Errors are common in the first few months after a new rule like this. Persistence matters. Now, and I'd like to pause here for a second. If you've gotten anything useful out of this conversation, I'd really appreciate a tap on the like button. It tells the algorithm other seniors deserve to hear this too. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Every week I go through topics like this, the kind of information your doctor's office doesn't have time to walk you through. Let me close with something I want you to carry with you. You hear a lot in the news about new vaccines, new coverage decisions, new rules from Washington. It can feel like the system is moving and you're standing still. But here's what I see in my practice every day. Seniors who take 5 minutes to ask the right question in the right vocabulary to the right person end up with a different year. They avoid a hospitalization. They walk through the winter without their lungs paying the price. They keep their independence. They keep their routine. They keep the life they built. You don't need to memorize 9 conditions. You don't need to argue with a billing system. You just need to know this. If you're 75 or older, please ask for the OSV-ARV shot at your next visit. If you're 62-74, please review that list. And if anything on that list matches a diagnosis you already carry, please ask your doctor specifically, with those words, I qualify for the OSV-ARV vaccine under the ASAPRIS criteria. Can we add it to today's plan? A small sentence, a big outcome. I appreciate you spending this time with me. If you want to share your own experience, whether you've already received the OSV-ARV vaccine, whether you were told you didn't qualify, or whether you ran into the pharmacy billing issue, drop it in the comments below. Other seniors will read those comments, and it genuinely helps. Hit subscribe. If you want more conversations like this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay well, stay informed, and keep doing the small things that protect the years ahead.